game last night was yet another challenge that tested the resolve of any team. The home team suffered a narrow loss to their opponents, with a final score of 106-96, putting an end to a promising winning streak. Recently, the team had shown strength, especially at home, securing big victories against Memphis and the Lakers, as well as another win against Denver. The opponents, who currently sit in second place in the standings, proved to be a formidable challenge. What could have been a crucial win for the team and an opportunity to climb higher in the standings turned into yet another obstacle in a season filled with ups and downs. Just earlier that night, the Lakers managed to secure a victory, while the Nuggets faced defeat, which could have put us in the position of the fourth seed all by ourselves. However, things took a turn when Draymond Green quickly picked up 5 fouls early in the third quarter, forcing him to sit out for the remainder of the game. On the offensive side, Steph Curry struggled, scoring only 3 points in the first half, with his lone three-pointer coming almost from half court toward the end of the second quarter. He ended the game with just those 3 points, a disappointing performance by his standards. It was a rough night for the team, who couldn't seem to establish themselves in the game, always staying between 4 and 10 points behind in the second half. It's fair to acknowledge the solid defense by the opponents, who keyed in on Curry, not giving him any space to showcase the type of play that usually positions him among the league's top scorers. The team committed a high number of turnovers, giving up points off fast breaks. On the other hand, we had a strong performance on the boards, but it simply wasn't our night. The atmosphere of the game felt like a playoff matchup, which is exactly what you'd expect when facing a team 5 times in a season. The intensity rises, and the stakes feel that much higher. Let's break down some of the numbers from the game. Klay Thompson finished with 14 points and had the tough task of defending Curry, limiting him to just 1 made shot on 10 attempts. Of those 10, only 1 of 8 came from beyond the three-point line, totaling a mere 3 points for the night. Thompson finished the game with a -4 rating and 4 turnovers, making even simple ball transitions difficult. Despite this, he was one of the few bright spots. Dillon Brooks, often not considered a top-tier scorer, ended up with 24 points, making 10 of his 13 attempts from the field. We couldn't effectively contain him, and he had a standout performance. Jalen Green contributed 21 points, while Sean added 19 and even forced a foul on Draymond. It's important to point out that in the early moments of the second half, the team committed 3 fouls in just 1 minute of play. Draymond picked up his 5th foul on a play that, in all fairness, shouldn't have been called. It was a routine play where he simply went up for a shot at the rim. This situation really impacted the defense in the second half, as Draymond ended the game with just 2 points and a -16 rating for the night. Despite not scoring, Curry dished out 8 assists, doing his best to set up his teammates for good looks. Some of the players off the bench had a strong performance and stood out during the game. Our bench showed up and played solid minutes, but so did theirs. When you look at the stats, it's clear that they shot better and made more three-pointers. If we consider points off fast breaks, the difference was significant, and that ended up being a key factor in the final result. The tally in the paint also favored the opponents. While both teams struggled from the free throw line, the situation could have been much worse. Overall, it was a performance that didn't live up to expectations from our team, but the opponents certainly earned the win. Sometimes that's just how the game goes. Looking back at the start of the game, we were ahead, but it was around halftime when the dynamics shifted. The Warriors didn't play terribly. They had their moments, but the Rockets really took control and claimed the victory. That's just the way it happens sometimes in sports. Analyzing the game further, it's clear that the Warriors started off strong, but the momentum swung in the third quarter. The Rockets came out hot, distancing themselves, and even though the Warriors managed to cut the lead to a single possession, they couldn't break through that mental barrier to tie the game or take the lead. Normally, after a long layoff, we expect the Warriors to show up in the fourth quarter, but that didn't happen this time around. When you take a step back and examine the standings, it's clear that the Warriors have dropped to the 6th seed, while the team in the 5th spot currently holds the advantage. The final game of the season will be against them, and we're tied with another team, but we currently hold the tiebreaker. The team in 8th place is also in the mix, so a win could push one of these teams into the 4th seed, while a loss could drop them to 8th, pushing them into a play-in scenario instead of securing a guaranteed spot in the 7-game series. Another team managed to pull out a win against their opponent, securing a nice cushion, but between the 4th and 8th spots, anything can happen, which makes every upcoming game crucial. When you assess the Warriors' schedule, it's apparent that losses to teams like Miami and the Hawks were especially damaging. These are the types of games that need to be won. At the start of the season, it was emphasized that strong teams don't drop consecutive games to weaker opponents. Despite the Warriors pulling off some nice wins, the loss to the 76ers was particularly disappointing, and the loss to the Mavericks was yet another missed opportunity. These setbacks are starting to add up and are having a significant impact when you look at the standings, which are now more important than ever. As the Warriors gear up to face the Suns on the road in a Tuesday night matchup, it's clear that the Suns are in a tough spot, trailing by 3 games and needing to win every remaining game to keep their playoff hopes alive. Whether they can pull that off is uncertain, but they will surely come out with intensity, especially with a standout player facing his former team. This presents a big opportunity for the Warriors, who must travel and secure a win. These games carry immense weight. Every win from here on out is crucial. Whether or not the Warriors can pull it off is still up in the air, but what is certain is that they will enter each game with full commitment, especially considering one player is going up against his former team and is determined to secure a victory. This is a big opportunity. The Warriors need to shine in away games, and as has been highlighted before, winning on the road is essential. After this, they have 2 games against teams that seem more beatable in San Antonio and Portland. The game against another team at 3:30 p.m. at home will decisively determine if the team will be looking at the play-in or if they will secure a spot in the playoffs. This is a pivotal moment. When you analyze the team's performance, it's important to acknowledge the contributions, particularly from one standout player. Looking back at the most recent game, this player scored 19 points in 4 of the last 5 contests. The struggles from earlier in the season are behind them. He converted 4 of 9 3-point attempts and 7 of 14 from the field. His renewed confidence is vital for the group. Recently, they faced a stronger opponent, but losing consecutive games, especially to a rival, is not the desired outcome. Thoughts on this match are welcomed. What are the expectations for the upcoming games against Phoenix, San Antonio, Portland, and another team? A sweep with 4 wins is hoped for, as the team looks to regroup. Wins over Phoenix, San Antonio, and Portland at home are mandatory. This is a situation where victory is crucial to secure a favorable position in the playoffs and avoid the play-in. The team needs to hit the court with intensity and make a significant impact. The energy is palpable. The recent loss was tough, but it's something they will overcome. As the Warriors prepare for their next few games, the importance of each matchup becomes even more glaring. The team can no longer afford to drop games to teams they should beat, and that's the reality that has set in after the most recent loss. Although the loss to the Rockets stung, it also serves as a wake-up call to the entire organization. The team can't rely on their star players alone to carry them through the final stretch of the season. There needs to be a collective effort, especially from the supporting cast, who will have to step up in these crucial games. Everyone knows that the pressure is mounting, but it's moments like these that define whether a team has what it takes to make a deep playoff run or falter under the weight of expectations. The Warriors' upcoming road game against the Suns is crucial for several reasons. First, the Suns, already behind in the standings, are fighting for their playoff lives, which means they'll be playing with a sense of desperation. This always makes them more dangerous. The Warriors, on the other hand, will be entering the game knowing they need to get the win to keep pace with the teams ahead of them and to ensure they don't fall into the play-in tournament. It's a game that could make or break their playoff aspirations. The atmosphere is sure to be intense, and every possession will matter. The Warriors can't afford to let the Suns build any momentum, especially when they are battling for their playoff hopes. Then, after that, the Warriors head to San Antonio and Portland, teams that, on paper, should be winnable games. These are the kinds of matchups that championship-contending teams have to take care of. If the Warriors drop games to these teams, it will be a sign that they're not yet ready to contend for a title this season. They will need to handle business on the road and show that they can play up to their potential against teams that are either rebuilding or on the fringe of playoff contention. These are the games that set the tone for how a team enters the postseason. If the Warriors struggle against these types of teams, it will raise serious questions about their ability to perform when the games really matter. When you take into account the Warriors roster, it's hard not to notice the potential they have. The core of the team is still one of the most talented in the league. Curry, Thompson, Green, and the supporting cast all have the experience to perform in high-pressure situations. But as we've seen throughout the season, experience alone isn't enough. The Warriors have shown flashes of brilliance, but they've also had moments where they look disjointed and lack the intensity needed to win games consistently. There's a sense of urgency now, and it's up to the veterans to lead by example and show the younger players what it takes to win in the playoffs. One of the biggest question marks for the Warriors is their consistency. They have the talent, no doubt, but the team hasn't been able to string together consistent performances for long stretches. They'll have a good game, then follow it up with a disappointing loss. That inconsistency could be their downfall, especially with the margin for error shrinking with each passing game. They've been a bit too reliant on their stars, and while Curry and Thompson can carry the load, they need more from the rest of the roster. The bench, in particular, has been inconsistent, and it's clear that for the Warriors to succeed, the role players need to step up and contribute more consistently. A big part of that comes from the Warriors' ability to defend. Defense has been a weak point for the team at times this season, and that's something they need to improve if they want to make a deep run in the playoffs. Teams like the Rockets, who are not considered one of the top contenders, shouldn't be able to score as easily as they did the other night. The Warriors allowed too many easy buckets, and that ultimately led to their downfall. Defense wins championships, and if the Warriors want to contend for a title, they have to tighten up defensively. It's something they can control, and if they want to go far, they must be able to defend at a higher level. As the regular season winds down, the Warriors have to approach every game like it's a playoff game. They don't have the luxury of coasting anymore. The margin for error is razor thin, and every loss brings them closer to a play-in game or even potentially missing the playoffs altogether. The team has to dig deep, find their rhythm, and play with a sense of urgency. There's no room for complacency, especially not in such a tight race for the playoffs. Looking ahead, the Warriors know they have to take care of business against the Suns, Spurs, and Blazers. These games will determine whether or not they can secure a playoff spot and avoid the play-in tournament. They also need to take a long, hard look at their performance in recent games and figure out what's been missing. There's still time to make a push, but it's now or never. The stakes have never been higher, and every game counts. The Warriors have to come together, play their best basketball, and prove that they belong in the postseason. With the talent they have, it's possible, but it's going to take everything they've got to get there. In the end, the pressure is on. The Warriors have shown they can compete at the highest level, but they need to do it consistently. The playoff race is tight, and they can't afford any more slip-ups. Whether they make it to the postseason or not depends on how they handle the challenges ahead. It's time for the Warriors to show the world that they're still one of the top teams in the league. The coming games will be crucial, and their playoff hopes are hanging in the balance. It's do or die. Every game is a must-win, and the Warriors need to rise to the occasion. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Could Kevin Durant really return to Golden State? The rumors are swirling, the phone lines are heating up, and a blockbuster reunion could be on the horizon. But why now? And why the Warriors? The Golden State Warriors are reportedly exploring a stunning move that would bring Kevin Durant back to the Bay Area, a potential game-changer for a team still chasing championship glory in the twilight of the Stephen Curry era. According to league insiders, the Warriors' front office has been closely monitoring Durant's situation in Phoenix, intrigued by the possibility of reigniting the dynasty they once built together. With Durant now having crossed the legendary 30,000-point milestone and battling through a challenging season with the Suns, the timing could be ideal for both sides. Durant's history with Golden State is nothing short of iconic. After joining the Warriors in 2016, he played a pivotal role in securing 2 NBA championships and earning back-to-back Finals MVP awards. His departure in 2019 left a legacy of dominance, and a void that Golden State has yet to fully fill. Bringing Durant back would not only restore their offensive firepower, but also reunite him with a system in which he thrived at historic levels. What's pushing the Warriors toward this ambitious pursuit isn't just nostalgia. With LeBron James continuing to defy age and other Western Conference powers on the rise, Golden State is feeling the urgency. They need a proven closer, someone who can take over late in games and shoulder the offensive load when Curry rests. Durant, still a top-tier scorer and recently voted a 15-time All-Star, fits that profile perfectly, even at 36. Of course, the Suns would have to be willing to engage, and that's where things get tricky. Despite Durant's recent injuries and Phoenix's inconsistent performance, he remains one of the most marketable and productive players in the league. But if the right mix of young assets, draft capital, and salary fillers comes from Golden State, the door might just crack open. One thing's for certain. If Kevin Durant dons the Warriors jersey once more, the NBA landscape will be shaken to its core. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.